this is going to be a great wave and revolution in the future. AI will have the same impact probably on society that the Industrial Revolution had. One of the biggest mistakes we can do when we're trying to develop innovative ideas and new solutions is to sit in our room and think. I started my journey at university by studying philosophy. That was one of my main interests as a teenager and as an early 20-year-old. And when I got the opportunity to study at the university, that's the subject that I chose. And I took a bachelor's in theoretical philosophy. After that, I worked a little bit, and then I studied a master's degree in management at Stockholm University. And it was during this time that I also studied courses at Stockholm School of Entrepreneurship, specifically the courses Ideation and Business Model Innovation. After that, I've studied about a year's worth of systemvetenskap in Swedish, which is information science, I would say. And I've also studied a few courses here and there during this time. I started studying philosophy and with no real idea about where that would take me. I had this general idea of maybe trying to do a PhD in something in philosophy, but it turned out that wasn't for me. And I was looking to get a more conventional job, and I thought that studying management would be a good idea because I love working in organizations and I love working with people. So while studying my Master's of Science in Management, the topic of AI came into my perspective. And it's something that's interested me before, but I realized that this is going to be a great wave and revolution in the future. So I chose to write my master's thesis about ethical implications of AI in organizations. And that's where my main interest of AI blossomed. And I realized that I would like to work in this sphere in the future. So I took courses after my master's, I took courses in system development, and I've been focusing my interest towards AI since. After my studies, I got the opportunity to work with innovation within kriminalvården. So I worked there for about 2 years as an innovation manager, and I soon became the main expert on AI in kriminalvården because of my past interests and competencies within the area. And from there, I landed this job at AI Sweden as a transformation strategist within the AI sphere. Yeah, so I think most people's conception of what AI is and how to use it is narrow compared to what the potential is. Most people don't realize that we're just on the cusp of a great revolution, that AI will have the same impact probably on society that the Industrial Revolution had in the 1800s. What we're seeing now is the delegation of cognitive tasks to machines, which is an enormous shift and will also bring about enormous changes in all aspects of our lives, not in the least how we work. People probably aren't realizing the scope of what is happening right now. So with the advent of models like Chat GPT and all these generative AI solutions that have been coming out now, people are getting really starting to open their eyes to the possibilities. And I think the difference today from 6 months ago is that people are no longer questioning the utility and power of these things, these technologies. Rather, what everyone is asking is, how can I use it? What can I do next? What's the next thing to come out? Before all this, there was still a question of whether or not AI would be a thing, but no one is asking that question anymore. But I think people are still somewhat unaware of the possibilities in terms of use cases, in terms of how to use it in their domain, in terms of what actually can I do with this to maximize the value. And that's not strange, because it's quite hard to imagine something that you have never come about or imagined. When Henry Ford developed the first cars, he famously said that if I would have asked people what they wanted in those days, they would have asked for faster horses. So we're in this same situation today. When we ask people what they want from AI, they tend to say something equivalent to, we want faster horses, when we're trying to build cars. So what I think will happen is a shift from product-based AI, where you have AI in a product that does a specific thing, to a collaboration with AI in a broader sense. So nowadays we might have a AI that generates pictures or generates text for us, but the way we can work with AI is that we can collaborate in all these cognitive task areas. So instead of writing text, I can prompt a text generator, work on the text a little bit, put it into the text generator once again, work back and forth with the AI to find a final text that I'm really happy with. This can be translated into so many areas where we work today. All kinds of cognitive tasks can be augmented by AI in this way, but it's in a collaboration rather than just simple service creation that I think the greatest value will come. So another important use area, I think, is to have AI collaborate with human in important decisions. So we can, with the power of AI, we can create decision support systems that give recommendations to professionals about their domain based on vast amounts of data. And this is a strength that has not been utilized so far. So a doctor, for instance, uses a lot of intuition and their prior knowledge on an area, but they don't use predictions, for instance, based on complex statistical analysis and vast amounts of data. With the power AI, we can help such professions make better decisions, more just decisions, and on-time decisions in a way that has not been possible before. So we're not going to ask the AI to take our jobs entirely, and we're not going to automate all decisions with AI. That's a common fear. What we're going to do is we're going to support our professionals in making the best decisions they can using all the available tools and technologies. And for that, AI is still not used entirely in relation to its potential. Well, one is really easy: generative AI. So that's what is going on right now with ChatGPT and Stable Diffusion and all these generative tools. Learn those tools. Learn how to generate text by yourself. Learn how to generate images and videos, and learn how to use that in your everyday practices. They will be an enormous help, and this is where a lot of development will happen in the future. This is also where the most progress will come from. So it's very important that we are early here in understanding the possibilities, the limitations, the risks, the ways in which people use them, so that we're not swamped by everybody else here. So you need to really keep up with what's going on in generative AI. I think I'm most happy and proud of myself when I can bring great value to the situation I am in at the moment. Right now I'm working a lot with public sector innovation, and specifically in the area of AI. And if I can be there to contribute to the Swedish citizens by supporting public sector, making great leaps within the area of AI, that would make me really happy. And that's actually what we're doing over at AI Sweden today. So I'm really proud of the work we're doing with Swedish kommuner and regioner, opening their eyes to the possibilities of AI and helping them usher in a new age of technologies that will help us overcome these enormous problems that we're facing in the future. Not only for security reasons, but also because of our demographic shift. We're getting older in this country and we need more people to help out. Working towards solving that problem makes me feel really great. Yeah, I could definitely see myself working in the private sector in the future. My study started in the private sector. I took courses at Stockholm School of Entrepreneurship, studying business model innovation and ideation for startups and companies, and I found that so interesting. But then I ended up in Kriminalvården as an innovation manager and strategist, and that really opened my eyes for the public sector, which is super interesting as well. And my path, it followed quite organically and naturally to keep working in public sector. And that's what I was hired to do at AI Sweden, is to bring my knowledge about innovation and entrepreneurialism into working in the public sector. I think one of the main challenges when working with innovative ideas is to find out how people do things and how they want to do things. Keeping a human-centered perspective in mind always, and always testing your ideas on actual users. That's such an important point, and actually one of the things that I learned at Stockholm School of Entrepreneurship that I'm really happy that I learned. One of the biggest mistakes we can do when we're trying to develop innovative ideas and new solutions is to sit in our room and think. Must get out of the room, must test it on users. We must find out about their behaviors, about their feelings, about how they want to do stuff. And that should be our guide. And the biggest challenge is to keep that perspective in mind. We're so prone to find ourselves in this thinking situation where we think we're gonna figure out the problems by ourselves. I think it happened quite organically that I made my way into the public sector. But it was not a given from the start. I've been really interested in private sector innovation and entrepreneurship. And I think since I'm a generalist and have a great interest in societal issues and ethics and on governance, there was a lot of touching points from my interests perspective in the public sector arena. And I think my strengths within that area made sense to utilize in a public sector context. So I think I maybe subconsciously gravitated toward that area. But to be honest, it's also the contacts I had, the people I knew, and my family and relatives are very connected to work in the public sector. So I think there's a few factors that just pushed me in towards that direction. Well, I have something that I'm trying to live by myself every day. That is to not think about the best place or the best idea and try your hardest to get to that idea. Rather, try to see that there are many great ideas and that it is okay to try to walk through the doors that open to you and choose one of these great ideas instead of trying to reach the best idea. Because the best idea is often unattainable, and it can be quite painful to strive toward it and fail. And if you have a lot of great opportunities and great doors to walk through, that's going to make life so much easier, and you will become richer as a person as well. So my greatest recommendation is don't think too much about what the ideal situation is. Try to see that there are many possibilities in life, many things that can interest you and make you happy, and that you need to follow the doors a little bit that open to you. Otherwise, you might find yourself in a less happy situation, struggling and banging your head into a wall. So when I was studying, I actually often felt quite lonely. I'm quite ambitious and I love learning and I love working hard. But not a lot of my student friends have the same energy or ambition, I'd say. Often when I was in a group work, I didn't feel comfortable because I had to do a lot of the group's work by myself. And I often found myself cleaning up other people's work, correcting their mistakes, and teaching them what we were doing while also doing the work. There's also been a lack of networks, I feel, where I've been. I have not had the kind of community feeling that I would love to have. And there was not a organic shift from being a student to going into a work situation. It can be quite scarce in terms of opportunities presented to you while you're studying and after you're studying. So I had to make my way. I had to find a way for my ambition to bloom and my creativity. I guess it's helped me become very self-sufficient and individual, but it's also been frustrating. But to all those out there who feel the same, it's important to know that your ambition and your strive to always do great work is so valued when you get out into the real world work life. And you will be detected once you get into the right context and get seen by the right people. Employers look for people like you, and if you just hang on and make it through your studies and out into the work sphere, you're gonna be really happy that you have such a strong ambition. So just keep at it and don't be afraid. So I actually haven't had burnout working in organizations, but I started my career in my early 20s as a musical artist. I was trying to become a singer and songwriter, and I had several bands, and I also worked as a producer. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I had great ambition about this, but it was really hard, and I couldn't ever really penetrate the music industry in the way that I had wished to. And when I was facing my first significant deal with a publisher, I suffered a great deal of anxiety, panic attacks, and signs of depression. So I had to leave music and find another course in my life. I felt sort of done with music. I was so tired of beating up myself about trying to be good, trying to be perfect, and I had to try something else. And this is what brought me to study at university. And I chose to study philosophy since that's one of my greatest interests. And I had to shift my perspective on what I expect from myself and how I want to live my life a little bit. And it's been a journey to learn how to be okay with being good enough and to work with my energy and ambitions in a way that I can take care of my creativity and the high ambitions that I have, but without getting burnt out or feeling bad. I wouldn't say that it's hard, but it's not done in the shake of a tail. But the answer is out there. I bet it's different for everyone. But if you've suffered burnout, there is a way back, and there are ways of relating to yourself and your high ambitions without killing yourself, basically. So just hang in there and try to be kind to yourself and find the ways that work for you. And I'm sure you're gonna be able to tackle stuff like this. I realized that I didn't want to do music when I one day woke up to the fact that I just wasn't having a good time anymore. I was just fed up. I realized that I'm just doing this to fulfill some dream I had when I was younger, and I didn't enjoy it anymore. And also, what I was feeling gave me no real choice, because it wasn't a sustainable way of being and working. I couldn't pursue music the way I was doing it, so I had to try something else. So I just took a leap and tried something else, and I felt a lot better and enjoyed myself a lot more and was able to lower my expectations on myself. And after a while, the answer was really clear, that I just didn't want to go back. Also, quitting music opened up this world of interests and possibilities and opportunities. I realized I love learning. I'm interested in so many things, and there are so many great things out there that you can dive deep into. I found that trying to pursue my dream as a music artist, I was limiting myself as well. I was limiting my perspective, and that also helped me to shift from that thing into something new. If I met someone who was facing the same problems as I did, I would recommend that they seek professional help. There's a lot of help out there, and you should not feel scared of seeking support, and it's not a weakness. It's a way of finding someone that can help you better utilize your strengths in a way that doesn't burn you out. Also, don't be scared to investigate how medication can work for you. There are great drugs out today, and I have many friends that are unambiguously helped by antidepressant medicines. So that is also something you should not be afraid to explore. Outside of that, try to live a holistic life with exercise, diet, free time, spend time with your family and your friends. Try to do things that aren't related to your job or your greatest interest or this thing, whatever it is that you're pursuing. Life is too short to miss out on all the great stuff that's out there outside of work, and you're going to be a more balanced and happier person as a result if you explore those avenues.